listening to precept on precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it brains reset. You listening to precept on precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line the word make you respect. History collegiate when we you listening to precept on precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it brains reset. You listening to precept on precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Shalom, everybody. Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to Precept Upon Precept. I'm Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Michael.
And we are your hosts, Captain Shem. He's out today, but we're going to hold it down. All right? We're going to hold it down for our mighty captain. All right? So, look, today's show, we're going to continue talking about this crisis going on between Russia and the rest of Europe.
Right.
Because the rest of Europe thought they was big and bad, and they thought that they was just going to run sanctions all over Russia. Russia said, okay, I got you covered. Now I'm going to turn off the gas. So he done twisted the valve, and now they about to go into a frenzy. But before we do that, we're going to get with Officer Michael with the Watchman Report. Pray for our IT team.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Happy Thursday. I promise you I'm not dyeing my beard gray. But let's go ahead and get to the Watchman Report. Pray for our T team. Day of terror in Memphis leaves family and friends briefed. All right, so it's a lot of trouble going on up there in Memphis. Let's pray for our family up there that they come back to God's laws and keep the commandments. All right, next article, please. Come on, IT team. Black preacher, I guess color don't matter, huh? Arrested while watering flowers, sues the police. He was trying to help a neighbor out and water his flowers. They came up, hey, put your hands up. You can't do that. Going to jail. I thought God loved everybody. Vladimir Putin wins race to be first world leader to congratulate Charles III for becoming king. He's at war, but he's like, hey, I'm going to take a break to celebrate you oppressing the hell out of the Israelites. So congratulations, King Charles. You're a king now. Next article. An Iowa teenager who killed her accused rapist is sentenced and ordered to pay $150,000. Dang. God traumatized the hell out of the sister, and she fought to get away from the guy and took his life. And they charged her saying that, hey, you murdered this guy, so now you have to pay him, his family, $150,000. So that concludes the Watchman Report. It's a sister. It's Jake. It's Judah.
All right. So look, jumping back on track, we're going to start with Article 16. All right, look, we had a whole lot go on with this Russia Nord Stream pipeline thing. All right, this Nord Stream pipeline is the life's blood of gas to Europe. Mm-hmm. And the people of Russia, a.k.a. Vladimir Putin, this guy said, okay, if y'all want to bring it there, we can bring it there. And he cut off the gas supply to an entire section of the world. The gas supply is not minimal, it's zero. There is no gas flow to Europe from Russia.
So think about that. Think about how gangster he has to be to cut off the gas to all of Europe, which includes England, and then go congratulate and being the first to congratulate the new king of England. Congratulations, nigga. Turn your gas off. Now what?
You know what I'm saying? But have you seen the new king of England?
Yeah.
He looks approachable
Yeah,
like that. He
yeah.
looks like he can be
Chin
taken
check.
advantage of.
Chin checked.
He looks like, I mean, he was a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he rolls around in a carriage with pillows while Vladimir Putin, he rides around on a motorcycle with a motorcycle gang and no helmet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This dude wears shorts in the wintertime in Russia. Like, come on, man.
He rides bears.
That was Photoshop.
Yeah, I know.
That was Photoshop.
I know.
But look, article number 16.
Czech Republic. Not to be confused with Chechen Republic. Czechia redirects here for other use. See Czechia
Disambiguation. Just start right there. The Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic, also known as Czechia, is a landlocked country in Central Europe.
It's a landlocked country in Central Europe. All right, go ahead.
Historically known as Bohemia, it is bordered by Austria to the south, Germany to the west, Poland to the northeast, and Slovakia to the southeast. The Czech Republic has a hilly landscape that covers an area of 78,800.
So, just looking at this, scroll down to that map right there. So, that's where the Czech Republic is, that dark green in the midst of all of that light green. All right? Now, zoom into that. Yep, zoom in some more. Or can you click on it and make that map like big? All right, don't worry about it. So, you have Germany to the top left. All right? And then you got was that Spain and then Portugal. So, you got Italy right underneath it. It's surrounded. It's right there in the middle. All right, it's right there in the middle of everything that's going on. So you don't think that the Czech Republic is affected by all of this? Remember, it was in the Czech Republic that they had those big, huge protests because they didn't like how the Western states were starting to force their policies. They were starting to force their NATO. They were starting to force their basic way of life on them, and they didn't want it. So what else is everybody trying to do? That's one little country that's rising up against the West. Are there any other countries rising up against the West? Go to article number 10 now. Because the title of the show is "The Valve is Off, EU Scrambles." So let's see how everybody is scrambling. And let's see why they're scrambling. Because there is a very big reason why they're scrambling. Oh, we're about to get into it right now. Article number 10. Y'all got it up?
Russian-Iran trade expanding. Putin.
So Russia is now expanding its trade with Iran. Let's read on.
Economic cooperation between the two nations has been growing amid Western sanctions.
So amid when they say Western, they talking about American.
Yeah.
Because America run the world, bro. America run the world. So when America say you ain't got nothing and they allies join in, guess what? You ain't got nothing. Read.
Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Thursday that the volume of trade between Moscow and Tehran have grown 81% in annual terms last year and by another 30% from January to May of this year.
So they grew 81% in the last year and another 30% in the first 5 months of this year. So they trading, guess what? All of those resources that Russia just cut off from Europe, where do you think they're going to go?
Iran.
Who you think going to buy it?
Iran.
And aren't they taking up a currency to back up their own stuff from the U.S. dollar?
Mm-hmm.
They trying to get away from the dollar, so now they start trading with each other?
Mm-hmm.
Let's read on. You about to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say, don't forget about Soleimani.
Exactly. All it takes is a reminder from Putin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about Soleimani.
Now give me your order. Putin, who held talks with Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Now listen to this, though. This is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is
like
Russia
China.
trading with Iran at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Are you starting to connect the dots here?
So you got Russia, you got Iran, and you got China.
China. Go ahead.
SCO meeting in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, said the relations between Russia and Iran are developing along all the vectors that have been formed for many previous years.
So everything that they wanted to do, now they're doing it because Western sanctions is forcing them to. Read.
He added that about 80 representatives of Russian companies will go to Iran next week on a business mission.
You know what that's called? Infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
That's called infrastructure. Foundation. 80 business representatives are going to Iran to discuss business matters. Doesn't the U.S. and the EU beef with Iran?
Yep.
Don't they beef with Russia?
Yes, they
Don't
do.
they beef with China?
They sure do.
Go ahead.
Cooperation between the two countries started rapidly expanding amid the Western sanctions against Moscow. Since the start of the year, they have reached a number of agreements, including for barter supplies of Iranian turbines.
So, barter supplies of Iranian turbines. That's one.
So they're not trading a dollar. They trading.
They're bartering.
They're bartering. Turbines are used to generate energy.
And airplanes.
Renewable energy.
Yep.
And turbine engines,
Mm-hmm.
airplanes. Let's go ahead.
Spare parts and aircraft equipment.
Because in the military, we know the thing that gave the U.S. military its upper hand was what? Air superiority.
Air Force.
They had their Air Force.
They stole that from Germany.
Exactly.
They took all their scientists, and that's how they started. Like Esau stole everything.
You know what I'm saying? Air superiority gave them the upper hand. Now
Watch this.
they already have stuff that they planning on with aircrafts. Go ahead.
Look at this other part.
And aircraft equipment.
Uh-huh.
And also for the joint construction of gas pipelines.
Wait, don't speed past that. Read that again.
And also for the joint construction of gas pipelines.
So where's this gas pipeline going to go? From
Iran.
Russia to Iran.
Mm.
And that's probably why those 80 representatives are going there.
They're going to build Nord Stream 3, which is going to go from Russia to Iran.
Mm.
Don't we already get a whole lot of oil and stuff like that from Iran and, you know, the Middle East area and all of that stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, they finna shut that down.
This
Like,
is a
come on,
power
man.
play right here.
It wouldn't surprise me if the U.S. is already using their oil reserves. And Shaking Joe probably forgot who it unsanctioned. He'll show up there like, hey, man,
Hey,
I need some oil from y'all.
I got a video that I just posted. We gonna get into it. We gonna see while the EU is scrambling, we gonna see exactly what the U.S. is getting out of all of this. Go ahead, finish that off.
And field development as a go down a little bit. As well as for visa free travel for tourist groups from Russia.
So that's a clear gateway. You don't even need no visa to come here. Just come and go as you please.
The KGB will be moving freely from Iran to Russia, training the Iranian forces. Yeah, because KGB can be tourists too.
You got to remember, a lot of stuff is happening. Go ahead, keep reading.
Russians' exports to Iran in 2021 totaled $3.07 billion, while imports from the countries amounted to $972 million, according to Russian Federal Customs Service.
Which means that they are doing a whole lot of trade with Iran.
It looks like they're giving Iran a whole lot of resources, because the trade to Iran was a total of $3.7 billion, while they got back $972 million. So they're actually giving more resources to Iran to build them up. Why? Because Iran is an ally.
Yep. Hey, go to article number 11. Go to article number 11. I'm telling you. Now we got Russia, Iran, and China. Remember the BRIC thing?
Yeah.
Brazil, Russia, Iran,
and
China. So Russia, Iran, China is already doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brazil is they
the silent partner.
the silent partner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, right above Brazil is Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Venezuela got the second largest oil reserve in the world.
And we know how Babylon did Venezuela. Wasn't too long ago, they was out in the streets starving.
Yep, they was burning their money because it wasn't
Yep.
worth nothing. Go ahead, what you about to say?
I was going to say there's that old saying in the world, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. And that's what you see going on with Iran and Russia right now.
Yep. Article number 11, please.
Iran given roadmap for joining Russia and China in major bloc.
So they have the roadmap, meaning the instruction manual, the given rules on how to join Russia and China. It's no secret that Russia and China working together. Now, guess what? Now you're about to see everything come to pass. Go ahead.
Tehran has signed a formal commitment to become a full member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, guess what? Is going to be against the EU. It's going to be against NATO. Russia got sanctions put on it by the EU with the U.S. backing it. Guess what? Now they're saying, okay, fine. I'm going to shut the gas off on you, and I'm going to turn the gas to them. And we're going to see how that's going to affect the EU. Go ahead.
Iran has signed a memorandum paving the way to transition from its current observer status to full membership of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
So just like what the U.S. is trying to do with NATO and the Ukraine, see, the Ukraine was, just an ally, you know what I mean? Observer status. They trying to get them full-fledged NATO, which that's the whole business behind this entire ordeal anyway. Mm-hmm. They said that they weren't going to expand eastward. The U.S. gave everybody the middle finger and said, "To hell with you, I'm expanding eastward." So now Russia gave the western side the middle finger and said, "Okay, you get no gas, and I'm turning my focus eastward and southward to get with Iran and China in Brazil. A whole lot of stuff about to start popping off. I'm telling you.
And what our people don't understand is those countries have something called standing armies.
Yep.
So they not just getting right like, oh, they're getting planes, they getting this. They getting military backings also.
Yep. Because China has the largest standing army in the world.
Yep.
Remember they used to say in the army, they got more soldiers than we got bullets?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
The Chinese has more soldiers than we have bullets. That's why the U.S. has to come up with other weaponry. Those super soldier suits. One time I was at home and I was watching that stuff. Them super soldier suits and stuff like that. A lot of y'all need to watch that stuff. Russia has them. Iran has them. China has them. Japan has them. The U.S. has them. Germany has them. All of these different countries that we just paying no mind to because they speak a whole nother language, they are very intelligent. They got super soldier suits. They got weaponry. They got all kind of stuff. That's why our goal, we need to start keeping these commandments. Yep. Keep these commandments. Nothing else is going to work. Back to the article.
The Middle Eastern nation, which the U.S. has long sought to undermine with diplomatic isolation and economic sanctions, made a formal step on Thursday to become the 9th member of the organization. Among the SCO's heavyweights are Russia and China, two major powers that are on Washington's list of geopolitical opponents.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So this means that the enemy is gaining allies. The enemy of the U.S. is gaining allies. You got to look at what it says. Scroll back up. It said that Middle Eastern nation, which the U.S. has long sought to undermine with diplomatic isolation and economic sanctions. The U.S. been against Iran. Remember, y'all brought it up earlier. Soleimani. Did you forget that they killed one of the top leaders of the country and then doubled back and killed one of the top scientists in the country?
Officer C, our people they still got Iraq and Afghanistan in their head. What they don't understand, these giants here, they not out there with dashikis on and prison sandals. They have actual army uniforms, army training, army combat boots, real army equipment. They're not there with shovels throwing bombs in ditches. They have actual army tactical items. They have those.
IED ain't your worry in this war.
No. They have real tanks.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to take it all the way back to before a lot of people that's watching the show was even born. 1988, the Iran-Contra scandal with Oliver North. Oliver North was a U.S. military guy, and he was over there helping them and training them. So this army in Iran is a U.S. trained army. You know what I'm saying? All the way back to 88.
Yup.
That's why they beefing. That's why they been beefing.
Let's see if it's going to get thicker.
The SCO was created in 2001 as an intra-governmental forum amid at fostering trust and developing economic and humanitarian ties in Asia.
So it was formed in 2001. Watch the members. Let's see.
And it currently has 8 permanent members.
Permanent members.
They ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere. Go ahead.
Right.
China
is a permanent member of the SCO. Of course, it's Shanghai Cooperation. Go ahead.
India.
Another giant. India has just passed 1 billion people of its population.
Right.
It is a tech giant of the world. And some of the smartest people come from India. Go ahead.
And India was also the home base for the Taliban.
Yes. And a lot of our people are in India. Go ahead.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Remember we did a show on Kazakhstan some months ago.
The U.S. tried to destabilize Kazakhstan and got a foot put in their behind by
Russia. Russia came and helped Kazakhstan, and the Kazakhstan president said outside forces tried to overthrow and destabilize this government.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan. So Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. That's another one. That they've had several skirmishes and conflicts in Kyrgyzstan and Kyrgyzstan and all of that stuff. Go ahead.
Russia.
Pakistan. See, that's another place that
That's
we kind
close
of we forget about that.
to a war that was going. I can't go into it, but
Yeah.
that's close to.
That's what I'm saying.
You know-
I know about it. Go ahead.
You know what's significant about Pakistan? Most of these people that own the gas stations here in the U.S. are from Pakistan, and that's not being a stereotype or racial profiling. That's fact.
Yep. Go ahead. Because we say all Ishmael look alike. Go ahead.
Tajikistan and Uzbekistan.
So go ahead.
The last is currently hosting the annual summit of the leaders of the member states in the city of Samarkand. Okay. Iran has been an SCO observer since 2005. Its delegation in the summit is headed by President Ibrahim Raisi, who met with senior Uzbek officials on Wednesday.
So these guys are having meetings. They're doing. I'm telling you, they are planning things. Now, go to article number 9. So while Iran, Russia, and China are solidifying deals over here on this side, let's see what's going on at the EU on this side. What's going on with the EU on this side?
European gas prices continue to soar.
I wonder why.
Costs are rising amid the EU's efforts to secure supplies ahead of the heating season.
So, ahead of the heating season, guess what's
winter?
The winter, they now have a crisis on their hands. What's the crisis, you say? The affordability of their gas that was just turned off by Russia.
Winter is coming.
Go ahead.
Natural gas prices in Europe have continued to rise, jumping 12% on Thursday, after the EU Commission acknowledged that it would be impossible to implement a proposed plan to cap Russian gas prices.
So the commission was like, look, we can't do nothing about this. You know why? It's too soon. Russia doesn't take time to deliberate and delegate and talk some BS and spread some mess. They just go straight into action. I'm going to cut your stuff off, and I'm going to start immediately doing trade with these people that I've been talking to for the past 20 years. Go ahead.
October gas futures at the TTF hub in the Netherlands at one point exceeded 250,000 per 2,500 per 1,000 cubic meters before later retreating to 2,450. Prices have seen upward pressure due to the uncertainty over supplies from Russia as the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline has been shut down for an indefinite period over technical issues due to sanctions.
So now this is where stuff come to bite you in the biscuit. They had an issue with the Nord Stream 1. A lot of people don't know that. They had an issue with the Nord Stream 1, but guess who was overfixing it? The EU and the US. So with them putting sanctions on, do they fix the gas pipeline? No. Now you can't get no gas. Now you need our help. Now you're going to feel these sanctions. They said, okay, we built Nord Stream 2. Go ahead and build Nord Stream 2. And now Nord Stream 2 is shut down, not because of technical issues, not because, there aren't workers to work it. It's shut down because Russia said, I'm not giving you no more resources. Exactly. So now what happens? Now you start to feel the effect of your own sanctions on your enemies. This is white on white crime. I love to see it. Go ahead. Red on red crime.
Also on Wednesday, the EU dropped its plan to impose a ceiling on the price of gas imports from Russia after pushback from several of the 27 member states.
So, what's part of this scramble? Internal conflict. Now, the EU beefing with each other because it's like, man, look, we need to import this stuff from there. And then they're like, nah, we can't do that. We got sanctions on them. To hell with the sanctions. I could just imagine all of that bumblebee stuff that you hear up in the meetings. To hell with the sanctions. We need this gas. We're going to freeze to death over the winter. But a lot of them, they are going to keep that thing going. Go ahead.
The bloc has been introducing measures amid reigning in an unprecedented energy crisis that has fueled inflation, hurt industry, and left numerous nations on the brink of a recession. Analysis are raising concerns that the measures being adopted won't help reduce gas demand during the winter season.
Oh, you think? You think? It takes gas to remain heated. You need gas to remain heated. Now watch this. Go to that video, the last video that I posted. This is going to trip your head out. So we already see that Russia, they starting to do business deals with their allies. The EU gets no help from the U.S. because, you know, what can you do? What can you do? And let's not forget Brexit. You can't forget Brexit because you can't go to your neighbor states because you're no longer part of the EU.
And if you look at where Pakistan's located on a map, just the states that were named off, look at where Pakistan is sitting. Look at who they're close to.
Yeah.
And that it's them begins with an A and ends in a stand. They don't like the US at all either. So you think Putin's like, hey man, y'all come on over too. We got Iran over here. Come join us.
Yep. I'm telling you. Watch this. Go to the video.
The United States of America and Europe
pause the video.
are
It said recession in Europe could be a blessing in disguise for the U.S. But why?
No sense.
Watch. Go ahead, play it.
ironclad allies, right? In fact, they together form most of what is NATO, the military alliance facing off with Russia. Ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, the US has appeared to stand shoulder to shoulder with Europe, helping the bloc at a time when it faces perhaps what is its most severe and multi-pronged crisis.
Stop. So they said that since the Ukraine invasion, the U.S. has stayed alongside of the EU and NATO because they're standing with them. And, you know, this is their most in dire time that they are in need. But this ain't got nothing to do with them. It got everything to do with the U.S. wants to expand its military arm. But watch this. Play on.
A time when it faces perhaps what is its most severe and multi-pronged crisis. Together, America and Europe imposed economic sanctions against Russia. Vladimir Putin responded by weaponizing energy exports to Europe.
Stop. So they did just like we've been talking about. They put sanctions on Russia. Russia responded by weaponizing its resources. So now you want to put sanctions on me. Now you can't get no resources from me now. The same people that you needed. Play on.
Against Russia, Vladimir Putin responded by weaponizing energy exports to Europe. Gas flows through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, for example, have been reduced to zero by Moscow. That has led Europe straight into the mouth of an economic crisis. Today, Europe stares at an imminent recession and consequent deindustrialization. Intriguingly, the United States of America is one country that has the most to gain out of a recession in Europe.
So stop. Go back a little bit. Play it.
Europe.
Stop. So, these are questions that you got to kind of ask. You know what I'm saying? Europe is over there scrambling because they have no gas and they're going to need heat for this coming winter. But is the U.S. behind the orchestration of this?
Let's leave that on the screen right there. And I want Revelation 17 and 16.
Bring it out.
We're going to leave that on the screen right there, and we're going to read this right here. This is how prophecy comes to pass.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
The 10 horns is the European Union, the EU. The whore is America, Babylon the Great. It said what?
Thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore,
Uh-huh.
and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
This is the beginning of this. The Europe's crisis. Was Europe's crisis orchestrated to save America? Is America doing this to the EU for their benefit, which is going to cause the EU to hate America?
Now remember when we first started talking about, the Russian crisis and all of that stuff, I was bringing up the fact that only like 7% of all gas exports come from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So why the hell is the gas prices so high?
Because only 7% of gas exports come from Russia to the U.S., but Russia was supplying all of Europe.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Why was our gas prices high at that time to double like that? It went from low twos to damn near $5 a gallon here, and it was $6, $7 a gallon in other major cities, right? So that would make you think, right? So
because you always need money to go to war.
exactly.
And where does the U.S. get its money from when it goes to war? It
Oil.
taxes the people.
Yeah, oil. When the gas prices go up, war is imminent. Now watch this. Play on.
Suddenly, news from the United States of America is not so grim. Gasoline prices are easing and inflation is being countered by interest rate hikes. Europe and
If y'all have been noticing, the gas
Gas
prices has been going down. Now think about this. When the Russia thing first popped off, the gas prices doubled, almost tripled, right? And now Europe is getting no gas from Russia, but our gas prices are going down. Our inflation is starting to level out. Play on.
gasoline prices are easing and inflation is being countered by interest rate hikes. Europe and the United States face a 60% and 30% chance of slipping into recession respectively, as per Goldman Sachs.
So Europe has a 60% chance of slipping into a recession, while the U.S. only stands a 30% chance. Why so low? Is it because the U.S. is always doing something underhanded to make sure that they're always going to survive?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what they're doing. Play on.
30% chance of slipping into recession respectively, as per Goldman Sachs. Europe faces a more imminent and dangerous threat of recession. What is even more interesting is that a European recession could end up saving America's fortunes and millions of jobs, as per Business Insider. According to former Federal Reserve economist Claudia Sam, Europe's hardship will sharply lower their demand and help bring the USA's inflation down.
Stop.
And how
It's going to bring demand away from Europe and bring it towards the U.S., meaning everything that they couldn't get in Europe, they're going to get from the U.S., which is going to make inflation go down because demand goes up. You know what I'm saying? Demand goes up, inflation comes down because now you're starting to level it out. So look at what's happening in the world. The EU is scrambling. They're trying to find out what they're going to do next. Meanwhile, the U.S. is eating. And they're eating well. They thinking, we good over here. Wait until the EU sees that and notices like, whoa, hold on. We over here starving. It's cold as hell. And they over there living a life. They not even helping. We got articles on that next. You about to say something?
Yeah, it's a chess move. It's almost like sacrificing your queen, because you put the queen out there and she draws all the attention, and then you moving your other pieces on the backside.
Yep. Play on in the video.
It will sharply lower their demand and help bring the USA's inflation down. And how is that? Let's try to figure that out. Last year, the US exported goods worth $270 billion to Europe, which made up 15% of the total American exports around the world. That scenario will change when Europe goes into a recession, because lower demand and purchasing power will also result in European countries importing less. That must be read along with the decline of euro's value against the American dollar.
Stop. Maybe her accent was a little too thick. Rewind that back a little bit, because it said that if they slip into a recession, then they can't export. So they can't get exports from the U.S., which means somebody else is going to pick up that slack. Somebody else is going to buy from the U.S. And then from that, what's going to happen to the euro? Because right now the euro is over the dollar. If you look at the price, the euro is over the dollar. All right? Now, what did she just say?
Must be read along with the decline of euro's value against the American dollar.
Stop. That means that if they slip into a recession, that the value of the euro drops. If the value of the euro drops, who's back on top monetarily?
The U.S.
What's happening? The EU is scrambling, and the U.S. is making scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's really happening in the world right now? Play on.
Weaker euro means Europeans will have to pay more for American goods. Since they won't be in a position to do that, US exports to Europe will predictably fall. A fall in demand in Europe will help the United States fight its own inflation and ease price pressures in the world's largest economy. Meanwhile, a recession in Europe could help bring down global oil prices. That's going to be very good news for American consumers. In a manner of speaking, Europe's economic misery is proving to be the perfect antidote to an American recession.
Stop. So, the more Europe suffers, the better it is for the great whore. The more the 10 horns suffer, the better. Because guess what? Not just the EU is going to be, but everybody in Europe. The entire NATO. The only people that's part of NATO on this side is the U.S. and Canada. Everybody else is in Europe. On the Eastern Hemisphere. They're the ones that's going to suffer from all of this. And the U.S. is still going to be living handsomely? Do you think that they're going to sit there and take that? And you have one powerful person that's defying the Western, what you wouldn't call it, bureaucracy?
Yes.
Or the Western bureaucracy. They're defying it. In the front of the world, the eyes of the world are watching Russia link up with other allies to go against the U.S. and to start doing different currencies and to start doing different trades and to now build a new pipeline from Russia to one of its allies and cut off the pipeline from Russia to now its enemy. Look at what's going on. What you think happens when they get their money played with? These nuclear equipped countries.
They start to get like Big Worm. Because smoking, you playing with my money?
Play with my
it's
money,
like
it's like
playing
playing
with
with my
my emotions.
Iran, for the longest, they was struggling with their nuclear program.
Yeah.
Russia's not. Tell you straight.
Nope.
They got sound doctrine with their nukes.
Hey, and guess what?
Hypersonic
Now,
technology.
Russia is now backing Iran. So where
That's
they
a
lacked,
problem.
They
ain't
lacked,
lacking
now
no
they
more.
about to they ain't gonna lack no more. They are not gonna lack no more. Hey, Go to article number 12. Article number 12. Boy, I'm telling you, the EU is scrambling and the U.S. is eating. Let's see what else is going to happen.
U.S. can't save EU from energy crisis, FT. Shell industry representatives say they can't boost output on short notice.
Shale, in case people wondering, this is the oil industry.
Mm-hmm.
Shale is oil, S-H-A-L-E. It's the oil industry. Fossil fuels. They said that they can't back them up on such short notice. You want to know why? Because Russia made moves kind of quickly. You can't come out of the Cold War in the era of Bush Jr. and think that nothing was going to happen with Russia after that fact. See, they was blinded by the black man president. You know what I'm saying? Then they got sidetracked by the orange president, Don Cheeto. Now you got this old dude in office that can't do nothing for you, and now you're starting to pay attention to stuff, but it's too late now.
And
the moves are already set.
And meanwhile, amidst all this instability over here with the black president, the orange president, and the old president, there's been one dude sitting on the president's seat over there in Russia all this time.
The entire time. He been in power the whole time. We've been switching people in leadership, and he been the president the whole time.
I don't think anybody's got the gall to run against this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
And if they don't, the KGB make a visit to him. And
He
disappear.
gotta die in order to get out of office.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, they don't hold elections.
okay.
He's the president, period. That's it. That's it.
After he took that seat from Mikhail Gorbachev, and he took the seat.
He been there.
Yeah, he been there.
Just posted up.
And never leave.
The U.S. is not able to ease the EU's energy crunch by increasing its shipments of oil and gas. The Financial Times reported on Wednesday, citing shale industry executives.
So they can't increase their oil and gas shipments to the EU. Read on.
It's not like the U.S. can pump a bunch more. Our production is what it is. There's no bailout coming, not on the oil side, not on the gas side.
So the U.S. used the EU for its expansion of NATO. You know what I'm saying? They used the EU for its expansion of its military arm. Anything the U.S. needed on the Eastern Hemisphere, the EU was there to do it. Anything that they wanted, the EU, the United States was there to do it for the EU. They wanted to expand eastward. America said, all right, I got you. Expand eastward. You got any problems? We going to have your back. Right. That's what's going on in Ukraine right now. That's what happened in Belarus. That's what happened in Crimea. You know what I'm saying? All of these different skirmishes that's been happening over the years, a lot of people have been forgetting about them. You about to say something else?
Yeah, didn't Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline like his first 100 days?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So they doing moves, and Russia is countering these moves. It's just that Russia don't make their moves known publicly. By the time it's known publicly, like now, it's too late.
Hey, like Deacon Asaph always say, real G's move in silence.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Most High is mustering up the battle. Go ahead.
Will Valo, the head of private equity group Quantum Energy Partners, one of the largest shale industry investors, told the news outlet, Europe is grappling with a growing energy shortage, trying to secure new sources of supplies while moving away from Russian energy.
Which is kind of hard.
Exactly.
Because you've been dependent on Russian energy for like decades.
Mm-hmm.
So what other energy are you going to go towards and your big brother across the pond, they can't help you. Where are you going to get this stuff from?
Because the U.S. said we can't pump out no more oil than what we pumping.
Yeah, and you can't go south because if you mess with Africa, you're going to mess with the allies of Russia
Mm-hmm.
and Iran and Pakistan and China. China is in Africa. You can't go to Africa because China's there. So now what are you going to do? What is the European Union going to do? What are they going to do when it comes time to actually need help and the U.S. can't give it to them? Go ahead.
Analysis feared that the upcoming EU embargo on Russian oil will send prices to new record highs. According to the International Energy Agency, oil sales from Russia could fall by almost 20% when the EU embargo takes full effect, which is a vast amount for the global market to lose, with Russia being one of the world's largest petroleum exporters.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. One of the largest petroleum exporters, everybody's going to feel it. Everybody's going to feel it. And when everybody feels it, what you think they're going to do? What happened when people couldn't get food at the beginning of the COVID crisis?
They started rioting.
There you go.
What happened when people couldn't get food during these hurricanes and storms?
They started rioting.
What you think gonna happen when they start freezing to death in the European cold winters this coming winter? Because the gas pipeline is cut off right now. Right now, the gas pipeline is cut off.
They're going to stop knocking on the door and they're going to kick it in.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
When the EU starts to scramble, guess what? I'm telling you.
Wartime.
There you go. Say it loud on the mic.
Wartime.
Wartime. Go back to the article.
Over the past several months, Europe has increased purchases of oil and liquefied natural gas from the U.S., but according to shale industry executives, there is not much more they can do.
Why? Because they're having a shipping crisis, remember?
Mm-hmm.
There's a shipping crisis. Let's not forget all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Supply chain.
Supply chain crisis. It's going to affect us globally. Now, it's all on the EU, and the U.S. is like, I mean, what do you want me to do? I can't do nothing. The production is what it is. I mean, I would help you if I could, but I ain't got it like that. The most powerful country in the world.
Yep.
Now you know how we feel. Now you know how we feel. Because guess what? All of this stuff is happening because of us. Because of the Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The more church blitzes happen, the more camps that we hold, the more radio show interviews we do, the more Facebook posts we make, the more Instagram videos we make, the more TikTok videos we make. Guess what? The word goes out. You can't stop it. It's already in motion. This is a spiritual war. Even the Bible said you're going to try to kill some of us, and you're still not going to stop it. You might even speed up the process, putting some of us to death. But guess what? We're watching the end of the world right now.
That's right.
Step by step, we're watching it happen.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
The Russians are now partnering up with everybody east and south of the EU. Think about it. Give me a map. Give me a map. I need a map of the globe. Matter of fact, I need a map of the Eastern Hemisphere. I need a map of the Eastern Hemisphere. Because we talked about the game Go, right? Remember we were saying how the NATO, the military hand of the U.S. in the Eastern Hemisphere, how they moving and encroaching against Russia, which caused Russia to fight back with this whole Ukraine thing, right? So now we're going to see who has the bigger goal.
They got a brother in the comment section from Austria saying that they're protesting and yelling to turn on Nord Stream 2 in Austria already. And it ain't even got cold yet.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Boy, boy, boy. Damn. Woo wee. So look, if they already doing this,
Mm-hmm.
guess what's gonna happen?
It's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Our brothers and sisters, our leadership, they've been telling us for a long time, stack up, get your supplies together. The famine is coming. It's gonna be a cold winter. All of these different things we've been getting warned by the prophets of God. The prophets of the Lord have been warning the people. And if you've been listening, you're gonna be all right. Y'all got it? So, Zoom, yes, that's what I need right there. That's what I need right there. So look. So Russia has Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Iran. Scroll it down.
Look right in the middle of Iran right now.
Pakistan,
Yep.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan is going to be right there. Pakistan is right there. What you think? Afghanistan not saying? Afghanistan move in silence.
Thank you.
They not saying nothing, but they a part of all of this.
There you go.
Then you got Iraq, you got Syria. Now watch this. So Russia got all of them right there, right? All of them right there as
So-
his allies, along with China and India, right? Now watch this. China go over to the left. Over to the left. Move the map to the left. Can y'all? Left.
Wait for the IT team.
There you go. Go down. You see all of that? Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, the Congo and all of that stuff. Guess what? China's there. So south of Europe, China is there. And if China's there, then Russia is there, India is there, Iran is there, Uzbekistan is there, Kazakhstan is there. And what is right north of Africa? Europe.
Mm-hmm.
What is west of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Iraq? Europe. So really, who's surrounded?
Europe.
Europe is surrounded. And what you think? Their big brother, the United States of America, is going to come across the pond and help? Hell no. Too much ground to cover. It's going to take them too long to get there. It's going to take them too long to get there. They could scramble within the U.S. within a certain amount of time, but globally, come on, man. You think all of these places don't know where the U.S. bases are in all of these countries? You don't think it's easy for them to get overran?
Our people still forgot. Do they not remember the videos of the Ishmael falling off the side of the planes, the U.S. tearing tail, getting up out of there? Why do you think they was just ripping up out of there like that, leaving all the equipment behind and everything? Esau know what the hell he doing.
Yep.
They know exactly what they doing. It's the ashy black devil that ain't paying attention.
Hey, I want you to put that map back up real quick and give me Joel 3 and 2. Because I'm looking at Iran, Afghanistan, and to the west of Iran is Iraq and Syria. Joel 3 and 2. My brother's struggling trying to get to that
Page
page.
stuck here.
boy.
Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
The Valley of Jehoshaphat, a.k.a. the Valley of Decision, a.k.a. the Middle East. If y'all don't see what's going on right now, all these nations are being gathered right there. Read it again.
I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Look, everything that's going on right now is going on because we are the people of the book. So look, we got to do what the book says. If y'all ain't keeping commandments now, y'all better start keeping commandments. Whatever secret sins y'all got, y'all better repent of them things. It's getting real.
Really real. Go back to that map. Now watch this. Zoom in on Israel. Zoom in on Israel. Well, that's the furthest y'all can go in. All right. Now scroll up a little bit. So, if Europe decides, I want to invade, because, I mean, you can't go to Russia.
Right.
You're going to get bombed. You know what I'm saying? They're going to shoot you out the sky. It is what it is. They're going to come down through Turkey. They already got warships in the Mediterranean Sea.
Mm-hmm. They're still there.
They already got warships there. Then you got Israel. Boom.
Israel is an ally of the United States. Matter of fact, they call that U.S. Junior over there.
So when it comes down to it, guess what? Yeah, the Turkish, they hate the United
U.S.
States.
I'm staying straight. They do not like the U.S.
I know some brothers that I was in the military with. They got their ass whooped by some Turkish dudes on a regular basis when they was out there in Germany. On a regular, them Turkish dudes, they do not like United States citizens at all. So, Turkey ain't going to be a part of the EU. They ain't going to be a part of that whole thing. But watch. Israel is right there in close proximity. And what is the U.S. used to doing? Using people.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there, close proximity. Drop bombs on Iran, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, all of them. We got your back. What you think gonna have to happen?
What's gonna happen? Because it's Bible prophecy. Is Syria's gonna get involved? The U.S. is gonna get Israel to drop bombs on Damascus. That's gonna pop it all off.
Telling you, these things are happening. These things are happening. So, what was the next one?
Commercial break.
Commercial break. All right, go ahead. Commercial break. Look, we're going to go to commercial break right quick. Y'all stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
Don't go nowhere.
It's IUIC TV for me.
It's IUIC TV for me.
Yo, witness reverse iconoclasm, painting pictures based off law scriptures you couldn't fathom. Come time travel through ages of biblical pages, black images from the creations and revelations, creating black art that's abstract through holy contact to show on the.
Shalom Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
So, welcome back. Look, we only got about 18 minutes left of the show. But look, the U.S. has already stated they can't help their little brother EU.
Right.
I mean, I know you ain't got no gas, but I can't do nothing about it. We can only export so much. Because, I mean, I forgot that we started this whole shipping crisis. Now, we can't even help our own people. But it is going to look up for us if you do take a nosedive.
Yeah.
It's going to look up for us. You know, at least our economy is going to be saved. Ain't that something like a person that getting some stuff with you? Somebody got to live to tell a story, brother. You be cool now, all right? And then run and leave you.
So you really got to think about it, Austin. You have a part of your forces over there. So you pretty much, hey, look, man, hey, man, we can't help y'all over here. So you got to pull that. You got to get them out.
Yep.
And
if they start pulling U.S. forces from some of these places, that's a wrap, bro. That's a wrap. If you ain't repent, you better start. You better start. You better start. I'm telling you, you better start. Go to article number 13.
Yeah, bro.
I'm telling you now, the U.S., give me that frame of mischief by law. Give me that. Man, look, these people here, they fight with the pen. You know what I'm saying? They fight with the pen.
So
They know how to write things into policy to make people move. All except for the helping out of their own people.
Right.
You know, because they can't help the EU because, you know, production is only what it is. You know, you can only do what you can do. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?
They frame mischief by a law. So remember, they've already been beefing with Russia. They've put sanctions on Russia. Russia kicked back and cut off natural resource supplies to them and partnered with a lot of people that don't like them. Most of it being the Dragons of Arabia.
Right.
The Dragons of Arabia got daggone Esau's evil brother as they leader. And they got Ming Ching over here as the spokesperson. They holding the meetings. They put all the legalities behind the corporation.
And that's how you know this is of the Lord. You got Mr. Wild Man himself, and you giving him unlimited access to things that go boom.
Exactly.
I can't even see it.
Exactly. How? Look, you know the scriptures say that the dragons of Arabia shall remember their nature. Bruh, how else could they remember their nature?
2nd Esdras chapter 15, started verse 28.
How else could they remember their nature if they don't have a battery to get put in their back?
Exactly.
Remembering their nature means that they forgot their nature at one point. The only thing that makes us forget our nature is the policies and the bureaucracies of the Western society. How do we forget our history? Through slavery and politics and thinking that we was equal and all of that stuff. Same thing over there. They was like, all right, well, we'll treat y'all nice. We'll give y'all democracy and all of that stuff. But what came with their democracy is always sodomy, paganism, you know what I'm saying? Some sort of policy that they got to bend and conform to that goes against everything that they stand for.
Pork and the white woman.
You know what I'm saying? So now you got pigs and dogs all throughout your country, and you can't do nothing about it. And now you got this other dog that comes to you and says, look, I'm the big dog. I done broke the chain. I got all of the supplies you need. Oh, you what? Your nuclear bases weren't functioning properly. I got all of the uranium you need.
There you go. Here's your plutonium.
Yeah, there you go. Your plutonium.
Here's your plutonium.
I got all the plutonium you need. I got all the oil you need. I got all the natural gas you need. You'll never go cold again. You know what I'm saying? That is how you build allies. Go ahead, read that.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
From the where?
From the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots.
Where are they getting these chariots from? Russia.
They got a military backing.
Read.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
Carried by who? Russia is going to carry them. Read.
That all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood.
The Carmanians or the Iranians?
Mm-hmm.
Carmanians or Iranians, who is part of the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, backed by Russia and China, with two of the largest militaries on earth, including with India. They got billions of people behind them.
Hey, watch this next part of the scripture.
And with great power shall
Where's
they
that
come.
great power coming from? Russia and China. Read.
Shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the
Hey,
dragons
hold up.
They're gonna waste a portion of Israel. I'm telling you, they're gonna we brought it out earlier. They're gonna start the bomb over there, and who's gonna come to Israel's defense? The United States. World War III gonna pop off. Because guess what? The EU gonna be like, hold on, you trying to help them? You ain't even help us. You let our ass freeze all winter. Bomb them. And the 10 heads shall hate the whore and burn her with fire.
Yep. Hey, read that verse 31.
Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them.
They're going to remember their nature, and they're going to get the backing that they need in order to come against this great whore. What did I have y'all at an article already? Yes, 13. Go ahead, let's read this.
U.S. Senator press ahead on Russian terrorism bill.
So the terrorism bill, let's see what it consists of. Go ahead.
Moscow has warned of a complete rupture in diplomatic ties should Washington enforce the label.
A complete rupture means all gloves are off. We're being civil right now, but if you do what you're trying to do to us, exactly how you did to Afghanistan and Iraq, ain't gonna be no more of that. No more gloves on, no more acting civil. Everything will be gloves off, it's on and popping. Let's read.
U.S. senators from both major parties,
Democrats and Republicans,
have introduced legislation seeking to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism.
What happened to the last state sponsor of terrorism?
It was Iran, wasn't it?
No, it was Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
First it was Iraq. Then it shifted from Iraq to Afghanistan.
Okay.
Declaring the war on terrorism.
Declaring the war on terror.
Mm.
And guess what? All of the U.S. troops got pulled into that.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
Now they're starting to do that with Russia. They're going to name Russia a state sponsor of terrorism.
Hey, all praise to the Most High. Do it. Do it now.
The state sponsor of terrorism means all of that propaganda that they was doing in 2001, 2002, 2003. Guess what? It's all going to come back. They're going to make Russia look like the bad guys like they used to. Remember in the late 80s, early 90s, it was the Russians are coming, the Russians are coming.
Yep.
Remember we had those drills?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We had drills in school to, like, you know, if there was a nuclear bomb, or, you know, what to do if we're under attack, or they disguised it later as a hurricane drill or a tornado drill, where they just sound off the alarm and all of the kids run into the hallway and, like, duck down. Some of y'all that's in y'all mid and late 30s, y'all know what I'm talking about. 40s.
Lot of propaganda movies like Red Dawn and Iron Eagle.
Yep. All of these different things, it
Even
all
Rambo.
dealt with Russia. All of it dealt with Russia. And Russia being the enemy. I'm telling you, that propaganda going to come back. Read on.
As well as imposing additional economic sanctions. The lawmakers noted that the bill came at the request of the Ukrainian officials.
So the bill came at the request of Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine is their friend now. Ukraine needs them. But if they become a member of the, remember, there's a whole lot of stuff at play. There's a whole bunch of levels. If the Ukraine becomes a member of NATO, war popping off. If Russia gets labeled a state sponsor of terrorism, war popping off. All of this stuff is happening. So much stuff is going on. Any little pin that busts a balloon, war popping off. Go ahead.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Democratic Richard Blumenthal
Yep.
announced the bipartisan Russia is a state sponsor of terrorism act bill on Wednesday, accusing Moscow of grave atrocities, war crimes, and even genocide in Ukraine.
Now hold on.
What about the
the
Devil's
hell up.
Punch Bowl?
What about that? Devil's Punch Bowl. What about the founding of the United States of America? What about the fact that as they were entering into Ukraine, they was bombing African countries?
Right.
What happened? What happened to Panama? What that war crimes?
Black Wall Street.
So
Venezuela?
you
Atrocities?
You want to accuse somebody of being a terrorist, but you trying to erase all of the terrorism that you did with the 1619 Act by tearing down all these statues. You're trying to erase history and make yourself look like you was the good guy, and you want to talk about war crimes? You still have us as POWs behind enemy lines right now today.
Let's discuss some war crimes and atrocities, shall we? The chick from England just died, right?
Yeah.
All of her royal riches
Were
was
stolen.
from other countries. Her crown, every piece of it was stolen from other countries. That chariot of gold that she rides around in, all of that gold came from Suriname.
Yes. And that chariot has depictions of war crimes on it.
Slavery, atrocities, and genocide. How do you think the Europeans came to this side of the earth and conquered it? By genocide, atrocities, and war crimes.
He's also cold-blooded with it. They stole us, and they still got the possessions right here with them. Like, the reminder's right there. You still got the people of the book right there.
Yep.
We stole y'all niggas from over here, but right there.
And they use you as a trade commodity, believe it or not.
Look at the crap that they try to pull. Is this not the hypocrisy of the United States? The hypocrisy, bro. The hypocrisy. Like, they want to label somebody a terrorist group. Meanwhile, the black man can't drive down the street without getting scared if a police get behind him.
Matter of fact, that is state-funded terrorism. The police.
They got all of this stuff going on, bro. We're terrorists in our own state, in our own country. And yes, it is our country first. It was given to our brothers and sisters, the northern kingdom of Israel, and it was taken from them and by Esau. Due to us being in sin, yes, I know that. But it was still given to northern kingdom first. All of this stuff is happening, and they got the gall to call somebody else a terrorist and a war criminal and a genocidal maniac. When don't they have a few holidays in this country behind genocidal maniacs? You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, they got one coming up next month on the 12th, I think it is.
What?
Columbus Day, about the genocidal, homicidal maniac
Yes.
that came over here.
Slaughtered an entire race of people. An entire race of people.
Then the month after that, they celebrate another group of genocidal, homicidal maniacs called Thanksgiving.
Exactly. Made a whole holiday for it. And you ignorant black people out there, y'all the ones that celebrate it because you too doggone selfish to put the plate away and actually stand up for your own people. And want to talk about Black History come February. You out your doggone mind.
And Native Americans blacker than your blanket.
So, let me get Article 14. We only got a couple minutes left. Article 14. So, while the EU is scrambling, the rest of the world is joining and allied with Russia. Whoever ain't part of the EU, you open for business.
India seeks to expand trade with Russia ambassador. Indian firms aim to fill the trade gap left by their competitors from the West.
So that trade gap is the European Union can no longer get gas from Russia. So India says, we'll take their place.
So-
Russia loses no money.
So Russia like, hey, look, forget what the United States talking about. I got that gas over here. Come out, let your boy.
India said, yes, sir, it looks very good to me. Go ahead.
New Delhi is exploring the possibility of boosting the export from medicines,
They're going to export medicines to Russia.
agricultural products,
Agricultural products to Russia. Meanwhile, they burning out agricultural products down in the United States,
Right.
blowing up chicken farms like that ain't
Right.
gonna upset black people. You know what I'm saying? Having cows drop dead.
letting Bill Gates, the philanthropist, explore
Yeah,
farming
Bill
now.
Gates buys up all the damn farmland. They got agricultural products going there. Go ahead.
Electronics.
Electronics, which means parts.
There you go.
Electronic parts, machine parts, whatever parts that they need.
Missile
and if it's
guidance
going to
systems.
Russia, guess who else is going to? Iran.
Missile guidance systems.
Go ahead.
Auto components to
Auto
Russia.
components.
For them for them guided missiles.
You need those to move your missiles around.
Tanks.
Put them on the back of them. So
You got tanks. You got war machines. You got war vehicles,
auto components.
airplanes.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Auto components to Russia. RIA Novus reported on Wednesday, citing Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov,
Go ahead.
as the problems associated with ensuing mutual settlements and logistical support for trade are resolved. The interest of Indian companies to vacant niches
Uh-huh.
in Russian market is growing.
So, where there are no trade going on anymore with the West, India is filling those voids, basically, those niche markets. So no matter what the market is, guess what? Russia has the allies to keep it afloat monetarily
So what you
and
saying
militarily.
is, so what you saying is Russia ain't feeling that so-called chokehold from these sanctions,
They not.
but the Tin Horns are.
Exactly. The Tin Horns are feeling it because the Tin Horns wanted to put it on Russia, but it ain't going to work. So now the Tin Horns going to feel it. The U.S. is going to live deliciously, and let's see what happens from there.
Right.
Keep your eyes on the news, people. The scriptures say so. Watch and pray. Watch and pray, people. All right? We're going to end it there. Look, it's 11. We do appreciate all of y'all for joining us tonight. Look, the war is not far off. The world is coming to an end. Day of Atonement is coming up. Settle your affairs. Get your lives together. Stop doing what you're doing. Fight. Fast. Pray. We all got to do it. We ain't exempt. We are not exempt. We all got issues that we got to deal with. Some of us, we have to deal with them issues till Christ come back, but you got to fight them. Don't get beat up by your problems. Don't get beat up by your sin. Let not your sins weigh you down. All right? Go ahead with the alms, Officer Mikael.
Hey, look, if y'all want to continue to see shows like this, give alms. Y'all can give alms to Precept Upon Precept by going to PayPal and typing in iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. If y'all want to give to the Booster Club, y'all can do so by giving to the Booster Club at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Also, make sure y'all give alms to y'all local schools, because y'all local schools need these alms too.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
All right, once again, we want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for sharing with us tonight, for being here. Lord's will, next week we'll be back with another great topic with Captain Shim. Hey, things are starting to get heated up. Israel, we got to watch, we got to pray, all right? The end is near. I know we've been hearing it for a long time, but that's why these classes, all of these radio shows, and shout out to all of the other captains, deacons, and bishops with their radio shows that have paved the way for us young men to come in and actually help to push this work forward.
That's
all right. They made the way for it. We just walk in the ground that they paved. All right. So with that, we say shalom.
You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shim break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word, make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains